everyone. Hello and welcome in. Thank you for tuning in today for the thrilling conclusion for the Rookie Review Series. We have finally reached the end. This is the final selection that we're going to be talking about. This is part 11 of an 11-part series where we talk about and take a look at all of the Minnesota Vikings draft selections from the 2021 NFL Draft. We end the series where the Minnesota Vikings ended their draft back in April in the 6th round with the 199th overall selection, and that selection was Jaylen Twyman, the defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. So you already know how this series works. It is the end of a long haul. Thank you for joining us on this journey, talking about all of the prospects. Maybe next year we'll try to do this a little bit quicker, but it was kind of nice to stretch this content out over the summer and the offseason as training camp and the preseason rapidly approach. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and here we go with the profile. So Jaylen Twyman, defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh, who probably wishes he would have maybe been able to play. Maybe the pandemic didn't happen, but there were some things along the way towards the end of his college career that probably knocked his draft stock down a little bit, because I don't think he ever envisioned getting drafted in the 6th round. And some of the early draft guides and later draft guides as well had him as a top 15 defensive tackle. Now, where he was in the top 100 or 200, I don't really remember. But still, I think that the 6th round, pick 199 overall for Jaylen Twyman was kind of a surprise, but there are some things that probably led to that, and we'll get to that here in a minute. So, first off, in high school, defensive tackle, really early on. Final 2 seasons, very good. That sparked a lot of interest in his recruiting. 153 tackles, 17 sacks over the final 2 years of his high school career. Jaylen Twyman measures in at 6'1", 301 pounds. Those are official pro day numbers. He was a redshirt junior in college, 3-star defensive tackle recruit coming out of high school. He ranked as the number 5 overall recruit in Washington, D.C., and he was the number 46 defensive tackle ranked nationally. He got offers from Maryland, Penn State, Pittsburgh, and South Carolina. He ends up committing to, not being committed, that's a completely different sentence. He ends up committing to Pittsburgh, and it probably has maybe a little bit to do with Aaron Donald, because Aaron Donald is his favorite player. And if you look at some of the scouting notes from his sophomore season especially, there's a lot of traces of Aaron Donald that you can find in his game and his production. So taking a look at his college production year by year, in 2017, he took a redshirt season. 2018, he appears in 13 games, but he only starts 16 tackles and a half sack to his credit. 2019, his sophomore campaign, he has a breakout as a one-year starter, starting in all 13 games. 41 tackles recorded, 12 tackles for loss, 10 and a half sacks. So really good production for the second-team All-American selection and a first-team All-ACC honors as well. Then in 2020, the pandemic strikes and he opts out, citing financial reasons regarding his family as the reason that he does not participate in 2020. So he was a one-year starter at Pitt. He lined up at three technique position in the 4-3 defense that they ran, and those are good things in terms of long-term evaluation for the Minnesota Vikings. As a 6th round selection, I don't anticipate seeing any impact for Jaylen Twyman this year in 2021. There is an argument to be made, and it's honestly a fair argument to be made, that he could wind up not even making the team. 6th round selections, 7th round selections have to fight for a roster spot. It's nothing new. It's nothing that we haven't experienced. It's nothing that any team in the league doesn't struggle with, is being able to find roster space for all your draft picks, and sometimes they just don't pan out. But I do think he does. I do think he will make the team, and having a 3-tech waiting in the wings, a diamond in the rough, if you will, that will have some long roads in terms of development is a good thing for us, because right now we don't have a true 3 technique other than Sheldon Richardson, who doesn't figure to be a starter this year. So hopefully the Aaron Donald comparisons are somehow grounded in reality, and the defensive coaches in Minnesota, Mike Zimmer and Patterson especially, are able to get that out of him over the course of the next few years while he is on a rookie contract. What led to the downfall in terms of Jaylen Twyman's draft stock has to be linked to the pro day, because his testing in the athletic drills were not very good. Just to give you a few numbers, 5.39 40-yard dash time, 40 on the bench press, 8.0 in the 3-cone drill. One of the big criticisms that I read in the scouting reports post pro day was that he doesn't have desired length. You know, the measurements didn't come in at what you like to see for the position. 32 and an 1/8 inch arms. Compare that to, I think Christian Barmore has like 34 and 5/8, who was one of the first defensive linemen taken in the draft. But overall, if you look at the 2019 season that he played for Pittsburgh, 13 games started out of 13, 10 and a half sacks, 12 tackles for loss. If we can get anywhere near that type of production out of a 6th-round pick, 199 overall, I'd say that that is pretty close to a home run. And is it likely going to happen? I think the odds are probably stacked against him a little bit. He's got a long way to go. He's definitely buried on the depth chart this year because of the free agent spending that we saw the Minnesota Vikings do over the summer, bringing in Dalvin Tomlinson, Sheldon Richardson. We have now Michael Pierce coming back after he opted out of the 2020 season. So it's going to be a little bit of a fight for him to get in. But the good news is that we have some good depth at the position, but we did not have last year. So despite, you know, taking a defensive tackle last year in Blake Lynch, way earlier in the draft, I believe Lynch was a 4th-round pick, and then shoring up the position in free agency, it's nice to know that if his name is going to be called on, we have something to fall back on because of that sophomore season that he had in 2019, and hopefully he is still able to play up to that level. And also, hopefully, the pro day numbers were just, you know, a mirage. Like, it wasn't a good indicator of how he will actually perform at the next level. But that is something that we'll have to wait and see on. So that's going to do it for the rookie review series. We made it through all 11 episodes. We finished with Jaylen Twyman. Way back in the day, we started with Christian Darrisaw. This is a very good draft class. And I've been saying it throughout every episode. Every time I learn more about a prospect, every time we talk about one, you know, from Amir Smith-Marset to Zach Davidson, way back to Janarius Robinson, Patrick Jones, all of them. It feels like this is a very solid draft class. I don't think I would have said the same thing last year had I gone that much, you know, this much in depth about it. I think that this draft class is going to be really good. But we will see. You know, it takes a few years to really give it a true grade. I'm not going to give it a grade today, other than to say that I'm pretty satisfied with the direction that Rick Spielman went in this draft and addressing needs and getting some players that might pan out in the future. So overall, it's a solid draft. Like I said, I'm not going to give him a grade, but I'm very happy with it. Let me know what you think in the comments below of the draft overall. Jaylen Twyman himself, the defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one.